Hello, everybody. My name is Grozny. I'm a warrant officer in the United States military, specifically the Department of the Army. I have a very long track record of patriotism, such as my stationing at Navarro and my two Entente wars that I have been a veteran in both of. I got a Purple Heart due to my act of distinguished service and the fact I was wounded in battle. I have consistently fought for the United States and the rights of the people, no matter what creed, color, or gender they are. I feel as if we've laid dormant for far too long, and I've taken it my personal responsibility to restart the Enclave and America as a whole in the age of new, I suppose. I've oh shit! Give me 1 second.
50 seconds.
Sorry, I'm a proud defender of Camp Guardian, our one of our many ancestral homes, like Navarro. I'm a true patriot. I think America should stand as one whole union, and yeah, that's me. You know, I'm just playing it by ear, seeing how it goes. That's mine.
Okay, that's it. All right.
Then roll it again. See who it is.
Yep. It's 2. Wow, this thing sucks dick. Thanks, Google.
Deckard.
Let's go.
All right, you ready, Deckard?
Yeah. Tell me when it
All right,
starts.
and start your speech.
Good evening, people of America, citizens of the greatest nation to ever grace these wretched wastes. I appear before you all today with an appeal to lead. In my over 3 years of experience with New Vegas multiplayer, I've been able to refine my skills in the art of command. Since my entrance into the mod, I have held high command or ownership positions in at least 5 separate factions on different locations, with my latest venture and final home being within the great United States Enclave. In this time, I have learned what it means to be a good leader, one who has the ability to be firm and yet still flexible to the will of their people, to understand the tribulations of even the lowest in our society, and to consider their suggestions for solutions. Apart from the topic of rule itself, my leadership has been instrumental in the success of countless military operations, with over 1,100 confirmed kills under my belt. Most notable of these include my single-handed defense over the former Enclave headquarters, Area 51, during the first and second blitzes of April. In these 2 occasions, the base had come under severe aerial bombardment when I was able to destroy 3 enemy vertibirds in successive dogfights. Today, I am still considered a capable, nay, shining example of what the United States Marine Corps has to offer against anyone idiotic enough to stand against us. On other matters, I believe we must work together towards a greater future for this country. Our prior prejudices have proven too costly to maintain, with a risk of those unfamiliar with our cause refusing to entertain friend or allyship solely on the basis of our unfondness of the unfortunate populace riddled by the ailments of radiation. For these reasons, we must extend our helping hand to muties, for these too can play an important role in assisting us in our journey of reestablishing federal command over America. Thank you.
10 seconds, wrap it up.
Vote for me, President of the United States. I am Eddy Grant Deckard.
All right, well, that was his speech. Avalon, are you ready?
Ready as always.
All right, Avalon, your turn. 3, 2, 1, good luck.
Friends, Americans, countrymen, lend me your ears. My name is Avalon Pendragon. I am currently a 2nd lieutenant in the Enclave. For too long, our organization has remained dormant, complicit in the affairs of the wasteland. For too long, we have allowed the affairs of our people to go by without any formal challenge to the wasteland itself. I believe that we should be able to help strengthen our forces, reconnect with our allies, and rebuild our relationships with our fellow players across the wasteland, and build forward a new coalition. Many years ago, a great man that I admire offered a new deal to the people of the United States when they were down. If you vote for me, I will not only grant you a second new deal, I will make sure that this new deal is long-lasting and beneficial to every single American across this land. In conclusion, a vote for Avalon is a vote for the future. Let's get to work, America.
Is that all?
Yes, I'm not much of a speech person. Sorry.
Yeah, fucking FDR right here or some shit. All right. I guess we're moving on to the questions. Correct, and it's 30 seconds each for questions.
Yes. Oh well, no, not 30 seconds. A minute.
Oh, a minute. Okay, my apologies.
Sure.
All right.
And also, when we get to the kind of halfway mark, when we start doing the more role play questions, say it so we don't get fucking whacked out.
Am I still rolling for this shit, or can I just ask you individually?
Just roll to make things fair.
Fair enough. All right. Okay, first question goes to number 1, whoever that was.
Avalon.
What is your plan and overall goal for the United States Enclave?
My plan and overall goal for the United States Enclave is to bring us back up and make us a powerful force on NVMP. I want to rebuild our relationships with our fellow groups. I also want to get us up to official status and have our military be ready in case anybody in the wasteland thinks about challenging us. I also want to reform and reorganize the United States Enclave to assist and benefit the group of the Enclave itself. That is all I have to say on that matter.
Alrighty then. So let's see here. Next up for number 2, this generator sucks. I apologize. Well, same question if you were paying attention.
Deckard.
Yeah. Can you ask it again? Let's ask the question.
What is your...
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. What is your plan and overall goal for the United States Enclave? Right, and go.
I'd say it's very simple. First, we've been hit with a large amount of inactive players, which we need to combat and need to regain. My plan in doing this is, well, I think we'll get to that a little bit later into the debate. I think there's a question specified for that. But along with this, I believe that our neutrality has been an important asset in establishing ourselves for now. But I think in the future we have to grow out of that. Additionally, I'd like to establish greater command structure within the Enclave, whether it be military command structure or simply through public policy. I think the president has been very kind of dormant as a leader in the faction, and I as president, if I were to be elected, I'd like to be much more active in that and play a much more active role in ensuring policies are being enacted.
Right. Time's up.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
My apologies.
So now it's me, right?
Yep.
So my
your plan?
overall plan for the United States Enclave is just to make them more active, is to turn them back into a powerhouse that we were at some point. The remnants were an extremely crucial part about this. USC wouldn't have existed without the remnants. And of course, neutrality is important. But at this point, at this time, we need to rely on people. As much as I'm very pro, just trying to make it and do it ourselves, that's just not possible. Players make the group, and without players, we don't have a group. So there's a lot of groups that I'd like to get more in hold of, like the BOS. I'd like to start making more formal pacts and stuff with other groups too. I think everybody is in agreement that the USC has just been dormant and it's been kind of non-existent. And that's been something I've been trying to fight, even outside of, the trying to become president. I've been making the citizenship. I've been doing a bunch of things with the server. I've just trying my best with what I've had
10 seconds, dear.
Well, that's all I say. That's all I got.
Okay.
Are we gonna do rebuts
Um,
for any of the questions? I feel like we all had basically the same answer. I mean, like, so
Yeah.
we don't really need that but like some of the other questions are gonna need probably rebuts. Like,
yeah. When we get to the roleplay questions, we'll
okay.
do the rebuts.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, please. I was gonna say, could next time specify what you did. So forgive me. All right, rolling for the next
Sorry.
question.
One question or one thing. Amboy, I saw you sent me. You're my Pookie. Just letting you know that. Okay, that's all.
Okay. Excuse me. Sorry. I believe it's the next question. Wait, did I skip over something?
You're fine.
I didn't skip over anyone. No. Because the generator's being a dick. This fucking thing sucks. What is wrong with Google? All right. I was gonna say next question. If I skipped over you, please point it out.
What?
No?
Say again.
Okay, good. Next question then. I'm gonna roll number one again for this question. How do you view the possibility of new alliances and groups?
I personally view the possibility of new alliances and groups as an interesting challenge for the Enclave. I view new groups as potentially becoming greater allies for the Enclave and helping to strengthen our relationship with the other groups in the area. I also view new alliances as potentially coming forward and helping to strengthen the Enclave, and I'm mostly of an open mind when it comes to that type of stuff. I mean, if the Alliance is hostile, then obviously I'm not afraid to throw down and defend the Enclave from them, but yeah, I'm more open to forming more alliances with these type of groups.
That all you have?
That's all I got.
Alrighty. Number three.
Okay. So I mean, alliances are the most important things in a video game. It's just the ability to go out and say hi to other people that, even though they're not in your specific friend group or in your specific in-game faction, they're still part of it. And I think and another thing that we have to mention is roleplay. Roleplay is an extremely important aspect of NVMP as a whole, and alliances are a big part of that. You'll have factions that are super isolated, and you'll have others that are always doing alliances. And I think we need to make more roleplay-esque packs, and I think we need to make more non-roleplay-esque packs. So that's really all I got.
Alrighty, Deckard.
Yeah, I agree with my my peer, Warrant Officer Grozny, in the sense that alliances, especially in New Vegas multiplayer, are especially important, and what gives a faction a lot of its strength. I think our neutrality was important for our initial growth, but I think at this point we are ready to grow out, and we should be looking towards who we can ally in the future. And create good allies which we can rely on, and they can rely on us. We still have to be, it's a delicate balance between neutrality and full allyship, as we don't want to expose ourselves to any significant risks at the moment. But as I said, I think it is the time to grow out. We have to do it very carefully, but under my leadership, I'd hope to be very successful in this and establish ourselves as a very strong faction with many allies, which we can rely on. Thank you.
Hey, you beat that on 4 seconds left. Good job. Okay. Let me see. Let me get into here. Blah, 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 blah. Make sure I didn't fuck up. All right. God damn it, Discord. All right. Random number generator is for 1. The question is, how will you regain the support of other groups since the collapse of our high command?
I believe that in order to regain the support of other groups since the collapse of our high command, I want to personally visit other groups, communicate with them better, and be more open and willing to assist them in their personal conflicts, and I believe that, just open up and be more talkative, be more communicative. I feel a major problem with our current enclave and our current group structure is that we don't talk too much to other groups. We're mostly just silent and have been too dormant for long. I feel that if we can just even start like saying to other groups, "Hey, how's it going?" and that type of stuff, I believe we can just like help ease tensions and that type of stuff in the debate area.
Is that right? Is that all you have?
That's all I got.
All right. Number two. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I think, yeah, since our collapse of the high command, and also like of our enlisted, the like our inactivity being increased exponentially, it's been really hard to maintain ourselves as a strong force in the Mojave. And I think what we need to do first, to regain the support of other groups, is focus inwards and try to revitalize our group, and get new high command members and get new enlisted members as well to fill those the positions which would be lost. I think once we like prove ourselves that we have this solid structure, it will give us a lot of legitimacy, which will allow groups to kind of see us as a force to be reckoned with, and that may cause them to feel safer if they were to be able to be in alliance with us, or they may just give us more credibility to convince them to be friendly with us. So thank you.
That it? So my thoughts on high command and our kind of lacking of other groups is that it's not democratic. You know, we've kind of been just existing, and we're not really, not necessarily feared, but we're not thought of as a genuine faction, and a lot of that is just because of the inactivity with HC. So groups, and that's all we've been talking about for the past couple minutes, but alliances and stuff like that, it's extremely important, and we need to show ourselves as the democratic faction, the talkative faction, the faction that you can argue with and reason with, to a certain extent, so that's something I just think we should work forward to, and that would extremely help us with our high command issue and our group issue. That's all I got. Feel good? You awake?
I've had my mic muted because I was listening to you speak. Jesus
Oh.
Christ, I apologize. Okay, then. Next question. Discord will not be a dick for 5 fucking minutes. Pardon the language. Number 3. How will you regain the recruits that were lost? Hello?
Who's
This is number 3.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's just an issue with recruitment. We got to start putting more ads out there. We got to start putting ourselves more out there. Like I said, as a democratic and talkative faction. Yeah, make them feel noticed. Make everybody feel noticed, and make them know that we know that they exist. And once people do that, once people know we exist, then we can kind of get more recruits and get more people out in there.
Is that all you have to say?
Yep.
All right. Number 1, you are next.
I agree with Grozny. I think a big issue with recruits is just recruiting is tough in general. My plan would be something similar. I would put out a lot of advertisements advertising the Enclave as a democratic group that everybody could join regardless of what they believe. I would also do a bit of a recruitment tour. I would across the wasteland with a bunch of Enclave people, advertising the Enclave everywhere we would go, and be like, hey, come join the Enclave. We're this super great group that, are good unless you're a mutant.
Alrighty then.
That's all I got to say on that issue. Yeah.
Well, yeah, your term's up, Deckard.
All right, thank you. I actually have a very unique and important track record with gaining recruits. Actually, in the when I was in my first faction that I ever joined, the Brotherhood Outcast in 2021, I joined very early in its inception or conception, and I actually was able to grow almost single-handedly the group from around 5 to 10 members all the way up to around 60 active members, and I'm very proud of that feat. And I hope to utilize some of the tactics I've used in the past to gain back our lost numbers and gain new recruits in that, and new active recruits. You know, I think just the easiest way or the most important thing to be is active in Goodsprings. Just having an active presence in Goodsprings, and also having like a very uniform, established uniform, gives a lot of paints the picture of our faction as very organized and uniform. And being in Goodsprings also gives us a very solid presence, so that anybody new hopping into the game can see us and recognize us as a powerful force, since they see so much. All right, thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's good.
All right, well, now next question kicks off with number 2, and that is: do you plan on making any considerable changes to how the group is ran?
Too edgy.
Yeah, back to you again.
Yeah, I actually have been floating around this idea for a little bit. Especially, it'll have to wait until we get establish more members within our faction. But I've had a idea to create create a more structured high command, and even command for the non-commissioned officers. I wish to establish the officer corps as a sort of or give each member a seat in a new Senate. And with the non-commissioned officers having a seat in a House of Representatives, with non-commissioned officers being able to create legislation and suggest ideas for the Senate, and vote on those ideas to pass to the Senate, with the Senate having overall final say on that legislation or policy ideas. The Senate would also be able to create legislation and pass it as it's necessary for a functioning high command. That's the main thing I've been, that's the main idea I've been floating around. All right, thank you.
Yep. Number 1.
I have a similar plan. I personally want to create a House of Representatives and a Senate, but my plan with this is to allow all citizens to have a say in the senatorial process, because the House and the Senate, at the end of the day, were all citizen elected, citizen run. I'm not saying that military can't have a president in the Senate, but civilians should have a say in that too. I also would like to add 3 new departments to our group. I would like to add a Department of State for Diplomacy, a Department of Treasury for Spark Management, and a Department of Defense for better communications between the military and the civilian government, which, if elected president, I could potentially see either Deckard or Grozny as my first Secretaries of Defense. And that's all I got on that issue.
4 seconds left. All right. Your turn, Grozny.
All right. So, I mean, of course, I'm making a lot of changes. But another thing is we have to stay true to what the original ideals of the Enclave were made for, is returning the United States back to its working state. So we need democracy in there. We need people to have a voice. And in a lot of ways, we just don't have that right now. we have we have the warrant officers and we have the NCOs, and yeah, they have a voice, but it's always going to be overshadowed by people that are just more up there. And even it's not a bad idea, of course. House of Representatives, Senate, that's a very good idea. I plan on implementing something similar to that. And my thing is presidency. The role of president has been kind of tormented by our high command in the Enclave, and it's been kind of a random role pick out whenever. I remember the first election. That was disappointing. It was a disappointing election.
Time's up. I'm sorry not to cut you off.
Well, that's it.
All right. So for these next questions,
Is
I
this?
suppose let's just say they're theoretical scenarios. So take them with a grain of salt and not.
Wait. Are these the roleplay ones?
Yes.
Okay, so these are all roleplay ones. So they're all going to be answered in the way of the United States.
Yes, this is basically just theoretical scenarios. This is nothing against any group. This is just
It's
theoretical.
just RP.
Yep. Okay, well, number one apparently gets to go because generator gave him it twice because I misclicked twice. Okay.
Avalon.
How would you solve our current border issues with ghouls and mutants being freely walking through our borders?
Personally speaking, I'm much of a pragmatic guy. I wouldn't necessarily want to use lethal force against non-feral ghouls. I would want to keep an eye on them in case they do feral and present themselves as a threat, but why waste a few bullets on people with just a bad skin condition? As for feral ghouls and super mutants, however, I believe they are too dangerous to be left alive. We've seen with significant feral groups running around the area and super mutant bands being hostile, especially around Black Mountain, that they have to unfortunately be destroyed. I know that they've been victims of unfortunate circumstances, but that's just how it has to be, and that's all I have on that issue.
All right. Is that all you have to say?
Yes.
Number 3. Same question.
Okay, so my views on the ghoul and mutant issue is complicated in some ways, some in not. I'm a very Colonel Autumn kind of guy. I think non-feral ghouls and mutants need to be put down. All they have ever been is a issue and a and what's the word? Something to worry about. Non-feral ghouls, they're a very different story because they do have those same memories, those same rights. And I think, and a lot of ghouls, a lot of them were U.S. citizens, so we need to think about that. But I think we need to really strengthen our borders when it comes to mutated creatures, and it's not just super mutants; it's all mutated creatures. We need to make sure the intelligent and useful ones come in, and the non-useful ones get dealt with.
Okay, well, Deckard.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we're looking at the mutant issue, we have to look back on our history and see what has happened when we've taken certain stances on this issue. I mean, look at Richardson, look at Autumn. What happened to them? Their adversaries crushed them, and it's because they were too stuck in their previous prejudices and were unable to cope in the world that they lived in today, where they would face significant backlash and military backlash to opposing groups. I think especially at our current moment, we are just too weak to even consider these backwards prejudices that we've held in the past, and we need to move forward and accept muties in a way that where they can actually be a benefit to us and strengthen our nation. We see in the New California Republic, super mutants and ghouls in the military, which are great assets and overpower their enemies. What did we first establish FEV as? It was a weapon. FEV was initially an amazing tool for us, and for some reason we've
FEV does not exist. That was a rumor.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
I didn't interrupt you. And let me respond to that. We established
your time is up. I do apologize, but I will look at
I'd
you
like to
continuing this
rebut.
rant
I'd
as
like
long
to
as it
rebut.
remains civil. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
We know. Do not. We have the records, and it's been released to the public. It's common knowledge that Mariposa military base was used for a military. It was a tragedy, but it was established as a military experiment, and was
Mariposa
Mariposa was a disgrace.
by
Okay.
communistic.
Okay.
Are you-
Okay.
Army
Absolutely not.
Settle. Gentlemen,
Okay.
gentlemen, settle down. Settle down.
I have the records from the Brotherhood of Steel. The records show it.
Settle down. Settle down, gentlemen. Look, you can kill each other afterwards.
Gentlemen, I have to agree with the president. I believe we should just get back to the debate's questions at hand.
Correct. Thank you. Now this actually does follow into the next topic, and is I did actually do my research, by the way, and it was misspelt. Just a heads up. But has curling 13, otherwise known as FEV, ever been thought of a logical solution to the mutant problem in the eyes of the U.S. government, and will you consider using it during your term? First candidate up is number 3. Go.
Okay, curling 13 and the FEV issue is a very complicated issue. Okay, many believe that it's some sort of ballistic super weapon or some sort of infectious disease, and those are all rumors. Okay, there is nothing that proves that FEV or curling 13 exists in the United States. Okay, and if it is, it needs to be extremely experimented on, and it needs to be refined to the best of its abilities. And the mutant issue is a sick issue, and if curling 13 does exist, which it probably doesn't, let's admit it, guys. If it does, though, it needs to be refined, and it needs to make sure that non-enclave and U.S. personnel don't get a hold of it. That's what I think.
Okay. Sorry, I'm laughing at what else is saying. This feels like Twitter all over again. Okay, this random number generator seems to hate Deckard for some reason, so it's actually because it's Avalon's turn now.
Thank you. Even if this Curing 13 did happen to exist, which I haven't seen the records for it, so I wouldn't know, I personally would not want to use it. It's the same with all CBRN-type weapons. It has the potential to cause intense backlash. If it does work against its target, it might eventually turn on us as well. And given that it's a bioweapon, we don't know if it's viral or bacterial. Either way, it has a chance to mutate and could potentially harm US governmental personnel. If such a device even existed, I would want it locked away and under heavy guard 24/7 to make sure that no group in the Wasteland ever possesses it again. It's kind of like with the brother with keeping technology out of the hands of the unworthy. We would have to keep this bioweapon out of the hands of the unworthy.
All right,
And that's all I have to say on this matter.
All right, perfect. Deckard, is your turn.
Yeah. So the thing is, it doesn't even matter if curling 13 specifically exists. It only matters that there's an idea that the Enclave may be working towards a solution to end all mutants. And that idea alone got Raven Rock destroyed. It got the oil rig destroyed, the Poseidon oil rig. It got Navarro destroyed. And I think we have to be strong against this idea that the Enclave would ever use a strand of FEV to eliminate those irradiated people of the waste, or anybody affected by radiation poisoning. That idea alone, as I said, has completely wrought destruction on our great nation, and it needs to be eradicated. And that needs to be done through a strong government figure who is willing to say that under no circumstances will the Enclave use such a device or such a strand of FEV.
Okay, look, the Enclave, the United States government, okay, would hold this very secret. Okay, so there has to have been some sort of leaks or something like that. Even if it does exist, which it doesn't, people have come up with those ideas by themselves. That's mass hysteria. Okay, that's not an issue with the government, and of course it is an issue that can be solved.
There are records of Richardson. There's records of Richardson's.
With the government.
Richardson's positions have been clear in the records Richard's position has been clear in the records what he
yeah,
wanted to do
okay.
to mutated individuals.
Okay, and what's next?
Do you have
You're
these
gonna
records
start talking about
available,
global
Mr. Deckard?
deadlines, and
It's
you're
in
gonna
the
start
press.
talking about mutants' rights. Is that what you're gonna start talking about? You're gonna
Yes.
start talking about communism. Is that it?
Communism? Are you serious? You would dare accuse me of such a heinous crime?
Yeah.
The worst
yeah,
thing to ever
yeah.
exist in our great world? Are you
Mutants-
serious? Don't
Mutants
start with
started.
me.
Mutants were
There was-
created.
Gentlemen,
by
gentlemen,
communists.
You gotta be
gentlemen.
kidding me. We
calm down.
created them. It was our mistake. Don't
Pro-communist
admit it.
people.
No.
Gentlemen.
You're
Gentlemen.
visionist hater. You're a revisionist.
Mr. Deckard, Mr. Grozny, I would ask that you, let's all just calm down for a brief moment and focus on the debate at hand. I believe, our great Mr. President Feelgood has 2 more questions to ask us before we wrap up our debate.
Charming as always, Avalon. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, I tried.
He is very much correct. We only have 2 questions left. I understand you guys have personal beef. You can kill each other later on. Just make sure your bodies
Nothing
are very
personal about it. Nothing
far
personal
away.
about it.
Oh, I'm just making sure. Okay. So, for the last 2 questions, again, reminder, this is all theoretical. So, everyone, no matter your faction, take it with a grain of salt. First question is going to Grozny because Google seems to hate the other 2. And the question is, with their current predictions of the NCR coming back, will they be held with open arms or be branded as traitors of the Union?
So I think that depends 100% on how they respond to us. Okay, if they come in with peace and they want to talk and negotiate and become one of us and return back to the Californian Republic, then yes, they should absolutely be taken in with open arms. But if they don't, and if they do decide to harm us like they did at Navarro, like they assisted with at the oil rig at Poseidon power plant too, along with that, all of these they need to be taken into consideration, and they'll be branded as traitors. It 100% depends on what you do. It can swing both ways. So that's my thoughts.
All right. Next one goes up to, oh my god, apparently it really likes Grozny for some reason. All right, number 1, it is your turn.
I agree with Grozny on the issue of the NCR. I believe in sort of a carrot and the stick approach when it comes to the NCR. I mean, I personally would love to see the NCR return to America as the great state of California. But as long as they are peaceful towards us, we will always offer them the carrot, the open hand, and willing to provide any support they need. But if they decide to be hostile, we will give them the stick and show that we will not tolerate any of their hostile actions towards us or our allies. And that's all I have to say on that matter.
All right. Well, it's your turn, Deckard.
Yeah, I tend to agree with the second lieutenant here. If they do not come with us with arms, then we should not come at them with arms. They've proven themselves in the past to be a very strong and powerful nation, we can't make too many hasty decisions on the matter. I think what's important for us as well is to establish ourselves towards them as a neutral or even friendly force to begin with. All they have, like, their history with us is not good, and I'm going to be honest, it's for good reason. I mean, some of the actions of past administrations have been incredibly disastrous, and some of the decisions made in the now New California Republic were actually good for the nation. I'll admit it. And I think we have to establish that we aren't those former administrations. We are a new administration that is willing to recognize our past mistakes and work with them for the future. Thank you.
All right, well, final question. Again, this is theoretical, so for the love of God, no one take this out of fucking context. Finally, for that question will go. Oh my God, this Why does this rant Google seem to hate you two? Third question goes to Grozny again.
Oh my god, thank you.
And the question is, Alan Bright and the other raider tribes of the Mojave have been a large issue since the West Coast forces have arrived. How will they be dealt with?
So I think it depends on the groups. Okay, you have plenty of different groups, like the Fiends, like Bright Dominion, and you have what's that called? The Vipers. Yes, the Vipers. All of them have extremely different styles, and they have different cultures, and how they act. And I think the friendly ones should be part of us, and they should be treated with open arms. But extreme groups such as the Bright Dominion and those anti-American and mutated communist groups should be dealt with, with the harsh hand of a bullet. I think. There's some groups that immensely use mutated creatures as their recruits and enlisted. I think they should be dealt with to the extreme. At the end of the day, we stand for a good America, a democratic America, and a pure America, and having
Time's
extremely
You could have wrapped it up, but yeah. All right. Well, next one goes to Deckard.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any such thing as a peaceful raider group. I mean, it's in their name. They raid innocent people's land and they raid innocent people's possessions. Every single one of them takes this into practice. They take the possessions and the territory and the property of our United States citizens, and I think that is a crime, like punishable by death. Frankly, I think the rights of the property rights of our citizens are the most important thing when it comes to our nation. I think that's core to our nation, especially core to the stability of our nation. And allowing these groups just go willing. I mean, as Grozny suggested, just the peaceful, like allow them to be peaceful. There's no such thing. They will always try something. They will always try to backstab. They are not honest, and they are not peaceful groups. They've always tried to raid our people's land, and we can't let that continue. Thank you.
All right, Avalon, your turn.
Personally speaking, I would give each and every single raider group in the wasteland 48 hours to cease their hostile activity. 48 hours to disband their raider groups and integrate peacefully into the United States and reintegrate under our laws. And if they manage to do that, then that's good. Welcome back to the United States. You're now a law-abiding citizen and we will treat you fairly. However, if they continue their hostile raider actions, I personally am a fan of taking every last hostile raider group, lining them against the wall, and readying the firing squads to teach them a lesson.
Absolutely. Avalon is 100% right on that. At least give them the chance to start their
I'm sorry, but I think you're contradicting your previous statement.
Citizens of the United States.
I don't think this
Get
is
a if I may finish.
You still had 20 seconds left.
Personally, I think we would only need to purge one hostile raider group to make sure that the others would fall in line pretty quickly. And that is all I will have to say on that matter.
Alrighty then.
Can I rebut?
That was
The United States. The
I
United States has always been.
I already said it. I said it first. Okay, bud. All right, bud. Sit down.
Okay, bud. Okay, bud.
Listen. You've contradicted your former statement. You said, "Oh, we have to work with them. We have to work with them. They're peaceful.
And
a
that's
lot of them
exactly
are peaceful."
what I said.
Absolutely ridiculous.
The United States is built off of the ability.
And let me just say, to respond to Mr. Pendragon, they do not learn. If one of them falls, they just keep on coming. They do not learn. They are the type of faction. They are the type of factions who do not learn from their past mistakes, which is what we should not be. Which is exactly what we should not be.
Dealt with.
And also, to further,
we should always offer them the opportunity to give up and to settle in as citizens of the United States. If they don't do that, then that's on their prerogative. That's on them. But
it worked for the British when it came to piracy in the area.
And let me
I
just
can't
let me just add
find
on.
who's-
Let me just add on. To Grozny's former accusation of communist sympathies towards me, let me just remind everyone that I was the one who rallied High Command against the communist threat in the Mojave and destroyed their base in Blackrock Cave. Let me just remind everyone of that to prove my loyalties and my despisement of communism. Please.
I can't tell who's more MacArthur right now.
You mean McCarthy?
Sorry, I was talking. I said I was one of the only people to assist you with that. I apologize. That was
I was the one who led it.
To offer a formal rebuttal to Mr. Deckard's statement about tribals not learning, I think after the purge of 1 or 2, maybe 3 hostile groups, they would definitely learn very quickly what we mean.
America should never not be taken seriously. At the end of the day, we are a union, and we need to stand together against the communist and mutant threat and the raider tribes of these groups. But we should also
Where is
allow
the
them
mutant
the
threat at this point? Are
opportunity.
you getting attacked by mutants? I'm not getting
We
attacked
should
by mutants
allow
in the
them
street.
the opportunity to settle in as normal citizens of the United States.
The mutant threat died with the master.
It absolutely did not.
No, it did.
You're
And
constantly-
its
Explain
followers,
the incursion around Black Mountain.
Black Mountain
Absolutely riddled.
are still following the master. Okay, listen, they still need to be dealt with. They are hostile mutants, but for the vast majority of mutants at this point are not hostile, especially
That is
in the Nevada.
absolutely not
In Nevada,
true.
it's just not true. In the state of Nevada, the vast majority of
I'm not
mutants
just talking about Nevada.
and what about ghouls? The vast majority of non-feral ghouls, almost every single one, are non-hostile. And actually, not even. If you look at raider groups, they're not even members of raider groups. Very few, almost none of members of raider groups are ghouls. It seems like regular humans are more prone to violence than ghouls at this point.
We weren't talking about purging non-feral ghouls, Mr.
Wow,
Deckard.
I think
and
we
as for
are.
your
I think we
question
are.
about
I think we
mutants,
are. I think Mr. Grozny absolutely is. I think he 100% is. He said any mutant he considers ghouls mutants 100%.
Yes, ghouls are
Exactly.
mutants, but
So to ask
And you said we need to
question-
purge
At one
all
point-
mutants from those. We need to purge
at
all
one
mutants
point-
from any
at one
adversarial group.
they were patriots. At one point, they were patriots.
Exactly.
So the non
They may still be.
feral
Why not allow
ghouls
them to be?
should be given a small chance.
And what
to
about
succeed
super
and
mutants?
live.
What about super mutants?
Super mutants?
That may be loyal to our nation.
Mr. Avalon, Mr. Deckard, and Mr. Grozny, let's address the elephant in the room. I understand the whole situation with a special agent Frank Horrigan.
Frank Horrigan was a disappointing moment in U.S. history.
We destroyed Mr. Horrigan's life, and that is on us.
Mr. Horrigan honestly should never have even been made. He should have been put down and honestly was just too evil even for our standards.
He was a valued member of the United States Secret Service in his time as a human, and even after that, he was a very valuable asset. But at the end of the day, that just shouldn't have happened.
I would argue that his actions actually led to the direct downfall of the Poseidon oil rig.
I would
especially
agree with that.
according to the and really it's not even his fault because he was following the orders and was indoctrinated into this horrible administration under Dick Richardson.
Okay, Dick Richardson was a problem. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Dick Richardson and Eden were very big issues, and there were a lot of things with them that I disagreed with.
He murdered. I mean, he abducted an entire vault, an entire town, and don't deny this. This is this has been
no, you're absolutely right.
Proven. And he killed part of the vault as well.
Yeah, I absolutely non-mutated U.S. citizens of the United States that he sent to death, basically, and even that is citizens of Arroyo. They were just people.
Exactly, they were innocent people. And you would still consider them mutants still?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, really? That's changed.
No, non-feral ghouls would be given a pass somewhat, and non-completely mutated humans. That's what I think.
Are you familiar with the leader of the slope near our base? Yeah, exactly. Are you aware of Marcus? Yeah, a super mutant named Marcus.
Yes, and he needs to be dealt with.
Really? For what purpose?
To be fair, he did assist the Chosen One in the destruction of our oil rig.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
for good reason. We
Whether
deserved that
Richardson-
at that point.
Whether Richardson
So
was
you're saying we
morally right
just
or wrong.
so you're saying
100%.
all our men
Dick
deserve to
Richardson-
die on the oil rig
No,
just
it
for
was
following
Dick.
the orders of
No,
one madman.
Richardson.
Whether
Yes, exactly. He indoctrinated them. It's like saying that Nazi Germany didn't deserve to lose because their people were
whether
innocent
President Richardson,
within it.
No,
whether
that's not what
President-
I'm
Yeah,
saying.
it's 100% the same thing. The U.S.
whether
Enclave
President Richardson
deserved.
was right or
The U.S.
wrong,
Enclave deserved to
no,
die.
US
Deserved to lose that fight, just like how the Nazis deserved to lose their fight, even though they were innocent people
Absolutely.
within the nation.
He killed many people on the oil rig.
I would say that's.
Absolutely
I
not.
wouldn't blame the Chosen One. I would blame Dick Richardson for that. The Chosen One was saving the waste.
Okay, Dick. Yeah, okay. I think you should differentiate the Dick Richardson administration with all of the United States government.
Yes,
okay?
it's a difference, but he was commanding them, and he had indoctrinated them
There
to
is a
believe
difference. The oil rig
him himself
is
too.
only as strong as the presidency. Okay, it's only as strong as the presidency.
I suppose that does kind of follow up into an additional question, a couple additional questions I seem to have here, and that is what is your opinion on the legacy of Granite Company?
Granite Company.
Yeah,
They
you go ahead.
were
The other two can go afterwards.
okay. They were something. Are you talking about Enclave Control Company that assisted with Frank Horrigan's killing?
Correct.
I think it's a very mixed bag. And I don't know what happened to them afterwards. I've heard a lot of things. I've heard that they were killed in Navarro. I've heard that they were, re-centered back up north. I'm not sure. I can congratulate them for their pride and patriotism serving, the Richardson administration, and for their act of defending the oil rig. But that's all I can say.
Deckard.
Well,
comments?
I don't think we can consider Granite Company a true representation of the Enclave itself. It was they were following there were some I can make some exceptions, especially to Sergeant Dornan, who was very complicit in a lot of the orders given by Frank Horrigan and Mr. President Richardson's administration. But a lot of the people within that company were simply following orders of an evil administration, and can't really be blamed. As their punishment for not following orders was with desertion would have been execution. So they really didn't have a choice in that. But some of the higher
thing you
ups-
had. Can I say something? Or is... Oh, no, you have.
I didn't interrupt you. We can do a rebuttal at the end. But
Yeah.
I want to hear if Avalon has anything to say.
I personally agree with Grozny on Granite Company. I think it's a very mixed bag issue on that type of stuff. Personally, I believe Granite Company was just trying to do the best of what they did, and I commended them for their defense of the oil rig. And if they did betray the Chosen One, at that point the oil rig was going to blow up, I believe, and I wouldn't blame them. They were just trying to survive, and I hope that they fell back in line at Navarro after, and at least helped defend that to the end.
Absolutely.
Any rebuttals?
No, I think we can all agree on that.
Additional question here. This one was sent in by a viewer. What are your thoughts on Group 935's experience? Oh, sorry, wait a minute. Ignore that. What are your thoughts on the
Very
rumors
bad.
of Colonel Autumn's son and or daughter, just his child, being in Nevada?
Say again? What?
There are persistent rumors that Colonel Autumn's son or daughter has been sighted in Nevada. Someone claiming to be a relative, a descendant. It's the story keeps changing.
Well, until I find out further information on that, I'd like to keep quiet. I'm not sure.
Perfectly understood.